Alright, good morning everyone. Got a nice little Turbo GT with us today, second review. This is the facelift. Obviously you can tell by a few things. Number one is the lights. I don't know if it's louder or not, but just take a look at the exhaust. Stock exhaust. I don't know the color of the name. Rims are gold carbon ceramics, obviously. For the facelift, we got a power boost of, I think, 19 horsepower. What's weird is they released this car like a year and a half ago, I'd say, and within a year they facelifted it. So I kind of feel sorry for anyone that purchased the previous pre-facelift. Anyways, let's go for a drive. Before we go for a drive, let's take a look. We got a carbon roof. Got this wing over here. This is not carbon, although the end plate is carbon. You got another wing here. These rims are massive. Got carbon ceramics as well. I don't like this plasticky bit here and here, although your diffuser is carbon. I mean, take a look at the exhausts. They look insane. Same thing for the side. You got your decal, which is basically just a sticker. No carbon in the front. This is for all the adaptive cruise control and so on. What I didn't know is this spoiler is actually active. Not that much, but still, didn't think this was active.
1, 2, 3, and your live.
Alright, welcome to second review. We're with the 2023 Turbo GT. I must say, I'm not the biggest fan of SUVs. I've always felt like they've been in this awkward position where it's not a proper SUV, but it's not a proper sports car. I don't know if this is going to change my mind or not. One thing I will say is I'm a big fan of the interior minus the screens. I think 3 screens. There's one on the passenger side, one in the middle, and one here. I'm not the biggest fan. There's a nice little heads-up display. Let me just show you guys that. Shows you your RPMs. Pretty nice. Interior quality, I mean, Alcantara, leather, carbon on the wheel. I really like the steering wheel. I think Porsche have done an amazing job with still keeping it minimalist, focusing. I mean, the buttons are small, which, to be fair, I prefer no buttons on my steering wheel. You have your driver mode button here where you can go. I mean, I don't know why there's an off-road setting, but normal, sport, and then sport plus. We're gonna stay in sport because sport plus just holds the RPMs. Alcantara, there is some gold accents you can see around here by the AC with the dry carbon. Seats are fairly comfortable. I really like the seats. There are these, I don't know what this is, to be honest. I'm not going to mess around with that. It's your AC controls and whatnot. I don't know if there's actually, no, I don't think the seats are cool. They could be. But interior, huge fan minus the screens. Alright, we're gonna launch it now. Let's test out what this thing can do. Oh my days! That's no joke. That's no joke. I won't lie, initially I think it's because I don't have traction control turned off. I wouldn't say bogged down, but I mean, as soon as we got like going slightly, I mean, this thing pulls. That's actually really surprising. Obviously, 4.0 liter V8 up front, which is shared with like a million different cars. But on paper, this is slower, supposedly, than Lamborghini Urus Performante. Why is that? This car is it's shared. Like this platform, this engine, it's shared with Lamborghini, it's shared with Bentley, it's shared with Audi. So on paper, because they're all under the VW group, this car on paper can't be as good as the Lamborghini Urus Performante, but I've seen multiple people who've driven both cars say that this is, I mean, because we all know when Porsche say 640, 650 horsepower, in reality, that's not the case. They're really, their horsepower numbers are really efficient. So, would I take this over Lamborghini Urus Performante? I mean, if I could keep the change, definitely. Nice little tunnel run. We're at highway speeds right now, and if you put a person who didn't know much about cars in this car right now, they just think, you know, it's a regular Cayenne, soccer mom, whatever for the kids. But everything changes when you put your foot down. I mean, this thing pulls. I'm extremely surprised, but I think it does both things really well. Like, if you want it to be, this car, you could easily daily it. It's comfortable, interior is amazing. I mean, it's a Porsche at the end of the day, it's not gonna let you down. But when you're feeling like you wanna step on it, I mean, this car absolutely moves. That's no slug. That's no slug at all. And honestly, this would be my SUV choice if I had to choose a performance SUV. Do I think it's worth it? I'm not so sure yet. I mean, if you can grab one at MSRP, that would be nice. It's not that difficult, to be honest. I think Porsche might give you a hard time saying, you know, at least buy maybe one car. But don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure about it. But I do really like the car so far. Now, one thing I really dislike, it's not about this car, it's kind of about how Porsche have handled it. The pre-facelift car came out like, what, a year and a half ago? And when they introduced the facelift for the all-new Cayenne, they brought out the Turbo GT. Usually what brands would do is they'd bring out, you know, the base models maybe, and then they'd wait maybe for a year and a couple of months, and then they'd release, you know, the GT3 RSs, the whatever. For some odd reason, we were at the end of the cycle for the previous, not previous gen, but previous point, whatever, for the Cayenne. When they introduced the facelift, they brought out the Turbo GT straight away, and I feel really bad for someone who's purchased the pre-facelift Turbo GT, because they've kind of, I mean, honestly, they got screwed over. But there are a few things that I like from that car more than this car. Number one, the rear tail light. We can see with the new 992.2 992.2 Porsche is they've extended the light bar. Like, we used to have that line, and then it would just be a thin bar in the middle. But this time it's just like kind of one solid bar. I'm not the biggest fan of that, to be honest. Like, I feel like it makes the car less aggressive. I wish they would have kept tachometer here or something that wasn't digital. I feel like all GT cars, I don't know if you could consider this a GT car. I mean, it's pretty fast on racetrack, but I wish they would have kept like something analog, because everything digital, initially it's fun and initially it's nice, but I mean, with time these things just get a bit meh. Other than that, I mean, car is extremely usable. It's easy to live with. You can see over in the back we actually have a baby car seat. So I mean, if you can get away with tricking your wife or the person that you're with that this is a good daily, but you know, maybe not mention horsepower figures and so on, and kind of just surprise them, or they'd know when you just absolutely floor it and send it. Another thing I want to talk about is, we've talked about straight line performance. We've talked about how this car pulls, torque, power. One thing, I mean, we did go for fuel, and I kind of overtook a bus so I could enter before him, and I was really surprised with the brakes. I mean, these brakes are insane. The steering as well. Obviously, we can't push this car to the limit on a highway or public roads, but you really get the sense that obviously it's not going to perform like a real track car, but for an SUV, for a car that weighs this much, I'm really surprised, to be honest. I mean, we know that this is the fastest SUV, and yeah, in terms of brakes, steering, I mean, I love the steering wheel. I'm 99% sure it's electronic, not hydraulic, but the feel is amazing. And wherever you point, I mean, the car just goes. Alright, to conclude today's review, I mean, over all of these coupe performance SUVs, I really think that this would be my choice. An Urus Performante is like 130k USD more, and I mean, you're not getting anything but the name. Performance wise, honestly, I mean, as I said before, many people have said that this is faster on a track and in a straight line. Car is very livable. You can daily this thing easy. I mean, the owner of this car dailies the car. Everything's outstanding. I mean, interior quality on the outside, performance. I mean, it's a Porsche. It's not gonna let you down. So I don't see myself going for an Urus or a RSQ8. But honestly speaking, after driving this car, I really think, you know, maybe in the future I could end up with a performance SUV. I mean, the 4.0 liter V8 that's, you know, in the RS7, the Lambo truck and everything. I mean, this thing sounds amazing. Honestly, it sounds like a muscle car. And it's torquey, extremely torquey. So, I mean, I'm pretty happy with the car. And thank you guys for watching. We're just going to do a quick one last poll for you guys.